Coming up on Super Boothers, Ryan and I answer a question that some people are struggling with. What do you do when you're moving or expanding to a totally new location? Stay tuned.
Super Boothers, my name is Ryan.
And I'm Ismail.
You did that like you were in the groove.
I am in the zone. I'm ready to go.
So
it's all business here, Ryan.
The title of today's episode is called Starting Over Yet Again. And that is a Sex and the City reference, yes.
I also don't know that, so please,
whatever,
please elaborate.
You totally do. Calm it down.
Who, Carrie? Miss Bradshaw?
It's Charlotte.
Oh, Charlotte?
Charlotte was the one.
I thought it was...
She was in the self-help section. She called it the self-hell aisle.
Oh, back when self-help was not cool. Now it's the whole big thing.
Now that's all it is. Now it's like, please help myself.
So this is going to be about a common question that people were submitting. This is a suggestion.
This really was. This, I guess, came about with people saying that they're moving to another city. They are either uprooting their business or starting over yet again.
So this is something that I'm excited to hear from you about, because I know that you operate in multiple cities, not just one, not just two, but multiple. I've never really had to pick up and move, but I can see how that would be a challenging thing for people. What do you do?
I think whenever I was living in, so the market tanked, I was living in San Antonio and I moved to Houston, not knowing a soul. And that was probably, I think, the singular most scary thing, is to move to a city where you know nobody. And you kind of quickly realize, and I'm so thankful that I ended up doing it. One of the first things I did was I joined Nason, it was ISIS at the time, now it's ILEA. So I went to networking meetings just to get to know who the players were in each city. And at that point, actually, this was an interesting story. So back then I was a florist.
I like how you start a story and then like a little bit through the story, you're like, oh, this is a good story. Let me continue.
Yes. So rewind it a little bit. I was still operating in San Antonio and moving over. I had just got my house and I did this massive wedding with a ton of Cymbidium orchids. So generally, this is a little flower lesson. Cymbidium orchids are like long stalks of orchids. They were green, and generally you'll have like anywhere between 6 to 8 blooms on a stem. The blooms that I ordered came with like 12 to 14. I mean, they were massive and they were gorgeous, and they were just, the grower that they came from, I don't know, he must have put like Monster or Bang Energy or something in them. I don't know. So what I did was I took that product and I made tiny little arrangements with the excess. And I went to every single hotel and delivered them with a handwritten note introducing myself, saying, hi, my name is, hi, I'm a new florist.
And you were just giving that as a gift, basically.
Absolutely.
Oh, and, that's great.
Oh, it was genius.
I love that. But
oh, yeah.
How do can you really do something like that as a photo boother?
Why not?
What can you do? Like that really fit, like you're showing what you can do. You're showing your skill.
Absolutely.
And it's a nice gift that they'll have on their desk.
Yes. And it caught a lot of people's attention had I not done that. So what I wrote was...
That's a great example. I hope people took notes on that one. That's awesome.
So what I ended up doing, and I must have delivered about 20 of them. So again, I'm making the use of my leftover product and going just to deliver it to people.
Genius.
No, and that's the thing is, if you... my client already paid for it. Might as well just use it. I got one email back almost instantaneously from another hotel, and she said, thank you, you have got my attention. Let's go to lunch.
So now you didn't meet that person.
No, I blind delivered it. I looked and stalked people online, found out who was a catering director, who was a sales manager, who was whatever. Hey, listen, I'm a new florist, handwritten note, please, I'd love to chat.
So you just go in and you just drop it off.
Front desk.
So the receptionist.
Yes.
Interesting.
I didn't have. I
You
didn't.
didn't ask to meet the person right
No.
then and there.
No.
You just said, "Here you go. Thank you very much."
Yes. Please, can you get it to this person?
Nice.
It was genius.
That is very genius.
Very
That-
elusive.
There's so many good things about that, especially the fact that you're using things that people throw away.
For sure. Well, not
Awesome.
only that, those orchids are expensive. So, and most people know that orchids are expensive. So, anyways, so what I'm getting to the point of is, and I'm sure there's people that we can do this with photo booths somehow. I'm so sure.
I'm sure it's just harder to come up with an example on the spot. So, because, yeah, I'm sure you can do something cool, but that is just so perfect because they put it on their desk. People have floral stuff on their desk all the time, and you're showcasing your skill.
I mean, you even could do like a memory stick or something like that. And the memory stick, hey, this is yours to keep. There's a file in here of all of our work. Whatever. Something that's useful. I think the best corporate gifts are the ones that are useful.
Yeah, the problem, the reason I don't like that as much is because you're not showing it. Why do they care? It's just like sending someone your demo tape. They just throw in the garbage.
Ouch.
This is your demo tape. This is your work. Like, that's a cool flower. I want to put a flower on my desk.
Sure.
You know, it's a
Well,
little
who's to
different.
say you still can't do that even as a photo booth person?
I'm not saying that you can't. I'm just saying that I need to think about it a little bit more before I get a good example.
Maybe you could find like a little like camera container or something like that and put flowers in that and deliver it that way. I don't know. I just think of flowers because
You get the idea, though. You
for
get the
sure
idea.
there's always something to do.
Now, I guess the people that are asking this question, from what I saw, they know that they're going to be moving. So, is there anything that you would do in advance of the move to kind of set things up?
Google Ads, which is now available at superboothers.com/courses.
There will be another course. that
Actually,
may
I think
help
it's
you.
I actually think it's courses.superboothers.com.
Yes. So I think the case with you, Ryan, is that time you moved, but you also operate in Las Vegas. You operate in a couple other places now, and you didn't move there. Is there any difference in doing it if you're not moving to that location?
It's hard because, just for example, being in Vegas, if I'm in Vegas for a week, I will go to lunches every single day, sometimes 2 lunches. Do like an 11
I
o'clock,
was gonna say.
do an 11 o'clock, and do a 1:30. I mean, sometimes you just have to. And just being visible and being present enough and just being out there is enough to get you the business.
How do you get those meetings in these new areas that you're not established in yet?
Well, the way I've kind of done it is you kind of have to have like a connector or get your first event.
So there's someone that's a hub, basically.
Yes,
that
that's
connects you
the
to other people.
that's the best way to do it. And the best way to do it is find like an agency, find a planner, find someone that already kind of knows what you can do. So the best ways that I've done it is you get one event, and then that's one where you meet the catering person during a walkthrough, whatever. It's like, oh well, do you go to like any networking meetings? Yes, I'm going to one next Tuesday. You should come with me. That way you go there knowing someone. Because if you go in there blindly, I mean, we're all cliquey people. We're all going to get, in your own little groups, and it's difficult. It's difficult being the new person. There are people in some cities that have been in the industry for 3 years, and they still get that look of, oh, well, and I'm so guilty of this just because whenever, I'm not going to learn their name. They're going to be gone in a week.
Ouch.
I'm the same way.
Burn.
There can be, and I've always talked about this, there's a little girl catering manager. Hi, I'm blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. What's your name? Caitlin, Brittany, Marcy,
This
Tiffany?
is like Devil Wears Prada.
Oh, no.
Emily.
Andrea.
Oh my God, I've been hanging out with you too much.
That's all. No, so I actually saw that movie on the plane coming over here.
I actually had it on recently as well.
Oh.
I wasn't watching it, but it was on. My wife,
whatever.
my
what-
wife,
My wife,
my sister,
whatever. My sister.
my cousin.
Uh-huh.
They were.
Uh-huh.
It's great.
No, so
Great movie.
that's the thing is you kind of have to find that connector. And that is if my mother if she's taught me one thing is it's not what you know, it's who you know. There are some photographers that I have known that are not the best photographers by any means.
But they're making tons of money.
Totally. And that's another thing is my good friend Steve, who is a photographer, who's a fantastic photographer, went to school to become an architect. And have you known any architects?
Yeah, I do actually know.
It's a different culture. And what I mean by that is whenever you go to school, all the architecture students live in the architecture building. It is just part of the culture to like always work until 3, 4 in the morning and get up at 6:30 and
You're describing someone I know, like he's an architect for billionaires in the city.
yeah,
That's him.
to a T.
They're all together. They're very like academic.
Yeah, and they're all very elitist, and that's fine because we want the buildings to stand up. We don't want them to fall down. So be elitist by all means. Be a perfectionist. Be so anal retentive that you have to have every T crossed and dot every lowercase J, and I get it. So that culture that he was in, it was just, you just kind of have to immerse yourself in it. And all of the students really just have that in them. He was telling me that there was this one guy who would turn in substandard work compared to everyone else. He was popular. Everyone knew who he was. He didn't live in the building. He went in, did his work, networked with everyone. Today is probably, I would say, top 10 architect in Houston because he knows how to play the game. And that's what this is. You don't have to be the best photo booth person. And that's not to say that I'm saying you should put out substandard work, because I'm not. But if you have a decent operating system, a decent product, you should be able to sell that enough to where you won't have a problem with people complaining about your quality.
This reminds me of something.
But the quality.
This reminds me of something Warren Buffett has said. And for those of you who don't know, he's one of the most successful investors of all time, one of the wealthiest people on the planet. He basically says you only need to have a basic level of intelligence to be a successful investor. It doesn't matter if you're a genius or if you're just pretty smart, right? You just need this base level. And I think that's what Ryan's trying to get at is you don't have to have the best architecture skills on the planet to be the most successful architect, because there are other skills that come into play. It's the same thing for photo boothing. You don't have to be the best picture quality person in the world, because to be a successful boother, you got to be a good manager. You got to be a good marketer. You got to be a good salesperson. It's the intersection of all these skills as opposed to just focusing on becoming the best craftsman. I think once you have a base level, it comes into these other things. It's not just about the craft.
So that's always my recommendation, is to just make friends with people that can make you money.
That's a good strategy. How do you identify like these connectors? Do you just try to find anybody, or is there a certain person in each thing that
It's kind of like high school. You just kind of have to find someone to have lunch with that first day, and then
You're taking me back.
and then expand from there. I mean,
That's
think about
actually-
it.
No, you're right, because I actually moved.
Sorry, what?
You're right.
Okay.
I actually moved from Brooklyn to Long Island when I was younger, and I'm thinking back to that. And you're right. The first day, I sat at lunch, made a friend, and that person connected me to all their friends.
Yes.
And that's exactly how it works in business too. Look at that full circle moment.
It's like prison. You go into prison, you pick a fight with the biggest bully, and then they know who's boss.
Or you die.
Whatever. You get shanked. Orange is the New Black got canceled.
Oh yes.
Not that
I
I care.
didn't watch that.
I didn't watch it either.
That's
I
a
was
nice
all about Prison Break. I love me some Wentworth Miller. Anyways, I digress.
So okay, that's actually a good tip to identify people, meet with them, try to find a way to make yourself stand out by going in and giving them something.
To this day, I went in to, it's not even a hotel. Well, it is a hotel anymore, but it's not by the same name anymore. And I met my very good friend Lauren. She was one of the first people that I met with in Houston. And I went in and I said, hey, here's who I am. Here's what I'm doing. That was the best thing, because there was a floral and decor person that was not pleasing people. I went in knocking on doors at the most opportune time, because there were people that were looking for another alternative.
But that's a luck issue that you can't really.
You
can't
never
you can't
know.
manufacture that.
But if you don't knock on the door, it's what is it when luck and opportunity are at the same time? Or did I just make that?
I don't know where you're going. But
No,
I like that if you don't knock on the door, it won't open.
No, that's the thing. What's another saying? whenever God closes a door, He opens a window. I much prefer if God closes a door, open it back up again, because that's how doors work.
It can get locked. It can get locked. Don't mess with God, man.
Bust it down. Take a bullet and shoot.
I think for the people who were suggesting this topic, I would want to know more information. Like, for example, when you're moving to this location, is it very far away? Are you keeping your same brand? Are you restarting a new company with a new brand? But it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, right? When you start over, you can take all the things that you learned from this experience and avoid the mistakes and get going a lot quicker in the new area. Also, if you're knowing that you're going to move in advance, there's a lot of things you can do to set things up before you get there. You can start emailing people, like Ryan said, setting up meetings.
Yeah.
Go visit once in a while, meet people in person before you actually move there.
You know what? Get a local phone number if you don't have one already.
Get a local number. You can find a way to establish a mini presence there before you actually move there, so that when you finally get there, hopefully you have something to work with. But with the power of Google Ads and the internet, I could be booking gigs in China. I don't got to be there. Like, you can target your advertising to specific locations, book gigs, so that when you move there, you have work waiting for you, right? So there's different ways of going
Yeah,
about
always
this.
book it in advance.
Exactly.
The same thing goes whenever you're buying a new product. We got a lot of flack for that episode.
Oh, God. You people. I don't know why I put up with you people sometimes.
What you mean, you people? No, I'm kidding.
But there's actually, like, really highly respected people that also gave us flack for that, too. They don't like what we're saying about that.
I don't give a flying beep. No, but that's the thing is, you have to prove a model. You have to prove that there is a need for what you're selling. I don't understand the concept of, well, yes, I understand the concept of, because the people that we got flack from were the ones that were saying, like, oh, well, you shouldn't pre-sell. Well, the ones that have screwed up before are the ones that have pre-sold and not followed through. And there's a lot of that in our industry.
Well, I don't agree with that.
If you would like for me to name names, it is now available at Super Boothers. Never mind.
I mean, that's true, and I agree with people who don't want pre-sellers that are shady. I don't want that either. There's a lot. I think you have to be an ethical person with integrity, and there's a way to do pre-selling with integrity. So I don't believe in knocking people off the bat. Like, I actually heard an interview with Elon Musk, and they're like, "Oh, what do you think about Saudi Arabia?" And he's like, "You got to be careful. It's a whole country. It's a big thing. Not every person in Saudi Arabia is bad. They killed this person. It was a very bad thing, but I'm not gonna like."
Oh, with the journalist?
Yeah, with the journalist.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not gonna say all Saudi Arabians are bad. Like, people have to stop painting with a broad brush, and I think the same applies here. Where, yeah, pre-selling can be bad, but it can be great. It's just about how you do it.
I think that in our industry, there have been too many people that have done it that haven't followed through. And I think that's why in our specific industry that it's a problem.
Yes, I agree with that. And I think that comes with the territory of being a smaller industry that's kind of finding its footing and not fully established yet. That there's going to be these charlatans coming out and trying to. It's kind of like the cryptocurrency market where all these people coming out of the woodwork and look at this Bitcoin.
You were all about Bitcoin. I texted you one time and you were like, "Be quiet, I'm trading Bitcoin." And yes, that's what he sounds like. That is my interpretation and my Ismail accent in my head.
Listen, I'm not saying cryptocurrency is a bad thing.
I'm not saying
But
cryptocurrency is
there's a lot of charlatans that come out of the woodwork for new industries and just try to make a quick buck. Absolutely. And that's a problem. But we're not advocating for that with pre-selling. We want to do it the right way.
Sure, and I think that whenever you move to a new market, if you don't pre-sell, you're just stupid. I'm sorry.
Because if you don't pre-sell, you're going to move there
with no income to start off with.
With no income for months potentially until you start booking gigs.
I've always said it takes about 3 months to kind of establish a new market.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of like the ramp-up period that you need for that.
So what else are issues that you see? Like, you can get technical, for example. You can change your Google My Business location before. Like, you can get into the little nuances of your online presence.
Well,
what else do you find as an issue?
Well, that's the thing is I think that you have to do that to begin with, just because the first thing people are going to do is, I don't know who you are, I have to Google search you. Mm-hmm. So you need to make sure that all that stuff is up and running before you make that commitment. For example, I operate in multiple cities. I don't have local phone numbers for all of them. I have an 855 number. I mean, that's just my way of handling with and still keeping it simple. I'm not going to have, a million local numbers that all go to that main number. I mean, I'm just not going to do that.
You also may want to speak to an accountant or a legal representative with operating in a different state potentially, depending on where you're moving. There's different tax rates, there's different regulations and how you should do things.
I think in some markets you have to actually have business licenses. Do you have to have one for New York?
A business license, not for every business. It depends on the business.
Sure, if it's regulated or not.
But for example, even opening an LLC in New York has a bunch of different rules than it would in a different state.
Sure.
You have to actually advertise in a newspaper for 6 to 8 weeks or something like that and pay for that advertising before you're officially an LLC. So if you're if you're moving to New York and you waited to do that till you got here, there goes 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So you want to try to find out as much of this stuff as you can before the move and make it as seamless as possible so that when you get there, you can actually get things going.
So what I want everyone to do is, if you have moved to a new market, tell us about your experience. Go to facebook.com/groups/superwithers.